And
Yeah, they absolutely do.
let's move on now. You've got another article here I wanted to get into titled "New Law Targets Sovereign Citizens in New York State." So break that down for us and tell us what you think about it.
Well, basically, it's a growing trend that we've kind of seen against the sovereign citizen movement, which has had varying degrees of success depending on the area and the circumstance. Basically, for those who don't know, in short, it's basically just a group of people who are turning the rhetoric and the legalese of the state against itself. Because of the fact that we're told that we're ruled through the consent of the governed and all this, that these people are just simply withdrawing their consent and they're citing various parts of the Constitution. And what we're seeing all across the United States and Canada, where in Canada it's called the free man on the land movement more often than it's called sovereign citizen. But what is happening is basically judges are just rewriting the law to push these people out of any kind of legal standing because they're correct. And a lot of the research that they have done to prove that they can work out of these certain things. And I mean, I have never really gotten into it, even though I have recognized that they were correct, because I know that these people are not law-abiding government, like the servants, as they kind of masquerade to be. They're bullies. They're a giant mafia gang that just happen to write stuff down on paper to make it look good. So they are just going to continue to rewriting their law until everybody's a criminal, even people who claim their own sovereignty. And that's exactly what we're seeing happening now. And New York is just a massive nanny state, so that's where a lot of this stuff pops up first. And this is where it's happening.
So what is your personal opinion on, because I have a few friends who are familiar and friendly to the legalese argument, as you briefly explained, that basically the idea being that there's loopholes within the system, that it's the language that we use. And some of that I do believe to be true. Like people don't understand what codes and ordinances and municipalities and all these different things really mean and how they affect us. We just sort of abide by them voluntarily without knowing if they really apply to us. So how do you think that this is a method that we should pursue that will lead to success in making ourselves more free, or is this another distraction? What are your thoughts on the whole legalese perspective of, besides just declaring yourself like I'm a sovereign, because I consider myself to be a sovereign citizen.
That's what I'm saying. I think that it's an important philosophy. You know what I mean? Like it's an important philosophical line in the sand to draw, and it is one that every human being should make. It's basically asserting your self-ownership. And I agree with that in every single way. I think it's morally right. And by all standards, I guess legally by my standards with the law of nature, it's correct. But I don't really think in this political climate you very far. I mean, I don't see a cop stopping me on the street when I'm smoking a joint and me not go to jail at the end of that situation, no matter what I say. It's just, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, for me, is like there's corruption, and you kind of said this in the article, that the corruption is not just that there's some hidden loopholes that somehow we're going to find out. For one, in my regards to this situation, even if this is accurate, the average judge and person on the street or police officer, they don't know this. They're just another pawn in the game. So trying to convince them is, I don't want to say a lost effort, because all effort towards bringing the message of freedom are worthy efforts. But I don't think that you're going to all of a sudden bring the right amount of paperwork or cite the right code, and then all of a sudden they're going to say, you know what, you found the way out. You are now free, and we will no longer bother you. That's not the way this game is rigged.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think that, like, you don't want to put too much confidence in the legalese arguments to where you put yourself in immediate danger that you could have avoided by being a little bit more cautious. Like, and that doesn't mean, like, bowing. You can still operate as an agorist and live outside the system as much as possible. But to think that their law is legitimate, that's basically, like, the problem that I have is a lot of sovereign citizens assume that the law is legitimate, assume that it was derived from some kind of legitimate place, and none of that is true. We're being run by a mafioso gang, and we happen to be in their jurisdiction. And I think until we put it in those terms, we're not really going to get anywhere.
And I think
game.
That's 100% true, and this is not. And I agree with you as far as this is not just find the right key and you get out. The thing is, we have to recognize, and this is where I kind of think it takes away, is that recognizing that we're already free, and there's no amount of legislation or loopholes or legalese that can stop that or declare that to be true or invalid. We decide every day whether or not we're free.
Yeah, the whole thing is an illegitimate racket. So to say, like, oh, I have mastered the illegitimate racket, and I know the illegitimate racket in and out to know that, I can get away with this, and this. I you know what I'm saying? I think that does the message a little bit of a disservice in a way, because it adds legitimacy to the system. And it says that, oh, yeah, we're not ruled by the consent of the governed. That adds credence to the social contract even. And we've had discussions about that before, I believe.
Yeah, we have. And we're going to lead this conversation. We're about to go to a quick break. We're going to lead this conversation into a discussion on how to make yourself more free. We're talking sovereign citizen movement, and I want to make it clear that anybody pursuing any method to make themselves more free is doing a valuable job. So if you've chosen—
I agree. I want to make that clear as well. Like, I'm definitely not ripping anybody down. I'm just putting forward my opinion on that situation.
We must embrace is not a simple change of political structure or economic policy, but rather a complete revolution of consciousness and awareness within the human mind.
We are witnessing the fall of the republic as tyrants try to make us